Okay, thanks so much, everyone, for joining us today. We have a very short talk about an interesting study that will be starting at Stanford, maybe by the middle of April 2023. And we have the principal investigator, Leila Montaser Kouhsari. She's a movement disorders specialist at Stanford. And then the research coordinator, Jawan Yon. She's a PhD, a postdoc actually at Stanford. And so Dr. Montaser Kouhsari will start us off with just a general introduction, and then Dr. Yun will continue on.
All right, great. So we are actually having two studies. One is that, I'm basically running it by myself, and then there is like another study that we're running it with another collaborator, Dr. Gardner, and also with Dr. Yeon, that she's here and she's going to tell us more about it. So, so the study that I'm basically working on is looking at the memory and visual integration deficit in Parkinson patients that can cause decision-making impairment, and also can cause some issues with gait. So the question that we are kind of trying to address in this study is that, our PD patients are able to use learned information that, we call them like priors, to make decisions under uncertainty. Usually, when we are in an uncertain environment, let's say that, you walk in a room and there is light, so you can use the visual information in that environment to walk. But then when, in the evening, you try to turn on the light, you don't have electricity. So you basically try to walk in that environment just based on the memory that you have from like where things are. So you're using that sort of like prior information from your memory rather than like using information in your surrounding. And we were wondering that, how much PD patients are able to use that, information from the memory to make either like motor decisions or sensory decisions. And then we're also wondering that, how much dopamine can actually help. So like the Cinemet that patients are taking, can it really help with correct this issue if they are not, able to integrate memory with sensory information. So patients that we are interested to recruit are PD patients that they're in the mild to moderate stage. They don't have any other major neurological psychiatric disease, age range 50 to 75, and they need to be on the levodopa therapy for at least 6 months. And we want patients to be able to read and write English at least at the 8th grade level. And this is basically the experimental design. So patients are coming and we will do some questionnaires. After that, they're going to see a bunch of random dots that we call them like glass patterns. Even though they are kind of locationed randomly, they at times they actually can present a particular orientation. And either it's like, orientation towards right or left. And then the task is basically to report what is the orientation of this glass pattern, this random dot that you see on the screen. And they have different colors, and patients are going to get feedback after each choice. They know that they did it correct or incorrect. And we have some training phase, and then we will have the actual test that we will actually introduce some noise, and then basically so sometimes guessing this orientation is easy and sometimes it's hard. So this is basically the part that patients will learn how to do this task, and then they can use that memory in order to do the task better. And we can actually assess to see that if this integration between memory and visual processing happens or not. We are also, for the gait part that I actually mentioned, we are collaborating with Stripe PD. This is a company that recently came up with a program that is on the Apple Watch. It's like an app. So we are providing an Apple Watch to patients that don't have one. So that allows to, measure the gait parameters when they're walking. If they have tremor, we can measure that. Then we also get some information about their balance. For these tests, we need patients to come to the lab 2 times. One time on medication, like they take their medication an hour before coming, and then another time they basically don't take the medication for 12 hours. So we want to see them when they're on medication and when they are off medication. And so we measure gaits in the lab, but also, when they go home, they're gonna wear the watch at times that they want, and we can get like more information through the watch as well. And the watch has the quality that you can actually put in your symptoms, put in when you're taking the medication, and that you can have access to this information yourself as well. So when you go to your doctor, you can actually bring that information to them so that they have more data to look at to adjust your medicine compared to just examining you in the office. So these are all the slides that I had.